name's Doug Erickson. I'm the second son of Cliff Erickson from the first marriage. I've been asked to take about 5 or 10 minutes. Just going to let the rabbi know right now, and everybody else, it's going to take more than 10 minutes. I'll do my best to go through this quickly. So I've been asked by Ellie to speak on behalf of my 3 brothers and 4 sisters to celebrate the life of her beloved husband and our father. Many of you may be familiar with the TV series Modern Family, the American comedy around a fictional character named Jay Pritchett and his second wife Gloria and their extended families. If you stretch your imagination almost to the point of breaking, you can find many similarities between the comedy Modern Family and the Erickson Goldstein families. Jay and Cliff are the patriarchs with traditional approaches to life. They are married to younger women, bombshells in their own right? Who have stories upon stories. And then we have the children and the grandchildren of all different ages and all different sexual orientations and who have a scattering of belief systems. All right? Oh, he wants to see this. Okay. Good. It must be doing something right here. So you could think of us as one big, straight, gay, asexual, multicultural, untraditional, modern family. Okay? So let's stretch our imaginations just a bit further here. If you've watched Modern Family, you may have seen the episode when Phil and Claire's daughter, Haley, was first going to college, and Phil gave his daughter a book which he authored called Philosophy. I can barely say that. The key lessons in life that he thought that his daughter would need to know as she moved through college and beyond. Thanks. Phil's guidance included things like always look people in the eye, even if they're blind. Just say, I'm looking you in the eye. And my favorite, marry someone who looks sexy while disappointed. Where am I going with this? And what does this have to do with my dad? All right. Well, similar to Phil's digest of wisdom, Cliff, my father, imparted much wisdom upon his children. The goal of all parents, I believe, is to give their children a strong foundation of sensibilities, wisdoms that have a formative effect on the way that they think, the way that they feel, and the way that they act. Combine this parental mission with Cliff's career as a teacher and an educator and an administrator, and you have a variation of philosophy, which I call Cliff Notes. Cliff Notes are a collection of happy stories from the combined children, in this front row here, of Cliff, Barbara, and Ellie, and the life lessons learned. Let's start at the top with Cliff's first child, David. Here's his story. My dad first taught math at De Anza High School. To him, math was the key to the universe. He had chalkboards and multiplication tables waiting for us when we would come home from school. A memory I have of Cliff is a story about Pythagoras. It goes like this. Pythagoras traveled to China to find the isosceles triangle and did indeed find it. The triangle was very heavy, so he hired a porter to help him carry it back. During their return, the porter tripped, the triangle went flying, and landed directly on Pythagoras' toe. Soon his right toe, I don't know why it says right toe, it could have been a left, but maybe there's a point here, was swollen to a painful size, rendering him unable to walk. The porter, in his broken English, advised Pythagoras with these words, SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite, cosine equals adjacent. I was told there'd be no math. Why are you doing this, right? Well, the point here is that David remembers this lesson every time he does math for his burgeoning graphic arts career. And yes, whenever he stubs his toe. These are the Cliff Notes. All right, now me. I'm the second child, and I have two particularly fond memories and lessons from my dad. The first was when I was 8 years old. We lived on Estates Avenue in Pinole. My dad had just bought a Coleman tent, and if any of you lived way back in the 60s, you may recall that Coleman tents were massively heavy as lead canvas structures that took a forklift and a bunch of kids, scrappy kids, to carry around. It was an epic event for the Ericksons as well as for the neighborhood. And the tent was designed for a family of 8, so we Ericksons, being very good at math and geometry, we invited 15 of the neighborhood kids over. And this was the inaugural sleepover. Shortly after, about the millionth time that my dad came in and said, "Stop talking, go to sleep. Stop talking, go to sleep," I finally decided that it was the perfect time for me to exercise my true leadership skills. So I decided I was going to convince all of the kids to run around the tent. Close your ears. Naked. Surely Obama had similar leadership experiences. So I did my best to convince my Coleman crib crew to join me and to shed their clothes, but to no avail. But finally I convinced them through a verbal contract that if I did it first, they would soon follow. No sooner had I dropped my pants, the flaps of the tent whipped open, and my dad hollered at me, "Douglas!" Very embarrassing. Well, my dad's leadership lessons were many that night and for years thereafter. My dad actually taught me leadership. Taught me that good leaders know how to inspire, and poor leaders just look at which way the pack is going and try to stay ahead of the pack. It was a very important lesson for me. So the cliff note here: never lead by dropping your pants. The Republicans could have learned something. A second fond memory I have of Cliff was when he forbade me to surf. And some of those who know me know that I've lived in Santa Cruz for the past 40 years because of my love for the ocean. When I was in my teens, the late 60s, my dad forbade me to surf because he was convinced that the ocean was polluted. Being a well-educated student from the Contra Costa school system, I decided to go to a higher authority. And of course, the ultimate authority for a teenage boy at that time was not Google, it was the Playboy Advisor. So I wrote, "Dear Playboy Advisor, I live near Santa Cruz, I love to surf, my dad claims the ocean is too polluted, please help us settle this dispute. Yours truly, Doug Erickson, Esquire." A few weeks later, I received a response in the mail. "Dear Doug, from the water quality reports that we have access to, the ocean water in Santa Cruz is very clean. We have to disagree with your dad's claim. You might let your dad know that surfing is a very healthy sport, and it is a great way to meet beautiful, healthy women." When I showed my dad this letter, he laughed and conceded by saying, "Doug, you've outwitted me, and I am proud of you. And Rabbi, I think you'll like this cliff note. Always seek a higher authority." And now for Stephanie, the first daughter born to Cliff. These are her words. "Cliff Erickson was my father for the first 20 years of my life. His influence on my life was profound and significant. Two fundamental lessons that my relationship with my father has taught me. One, a parent and child's life are inextricably linked. And two, parents do the very best they can. In the realm of Buddhism, parents are not just accidental relationships. We choose our parents and they choose us." By holding appreciation for one's parents, one's life capacity is expanded, as well as one's ability to feel appreciation for all life. It has enriched my life, my heart, my wisdom to appreciate my parents, both their gifts and challenges they presented me. With this spirit, I would like to share a couple things I deeply appreciate about my father. As a very young child, I was intensely curious about life. I questioned everything I sought to learn in every moment. For this, I was considered a bit strange to many. But to my father, these were traits he encouraged and supported. That is, my deep curiosity and love of learning. He supported me by providing me with tools to read, to write, to count, new opportunities in ways to learn about anything and everything. I remember him spending hours with me at the dining table doing homework, practicing math drills, working hard to solve a problem. For his efforts, for his interest in me developing a learning spirit, I am eternally appreciative. My father also taught me about justice and injustice by spotlighting social injustice in the communities around us. Because of these experiences, I have as my backbone a set of values rooted in respect for all life and honoring diversity. These guide me with integrity and fierce determination to walk a path that contributes to humanity. For the ways in which he contributed to and affected my development to value and to respect all life, I am deeply appreciative of my father. Cliff note here: nurture curiosity, learn, feed your mind and soul, respect life, and honor diversity.